series of toys that we see throughout the beginning of the trailer. First we see Huggy, and then Mommy, and then the head of Bron. I personally see that correlation to the chapters as being a little bit too convenient. I mean, you can see Huggy in Chapter 1, we know he was the main antagonist, and then Mommy Longlegs is in Chapter 2 as the main antagonist. Does that mean Bron is gonna be the antagonist in Chapter 3? I think so. Not only that, we get some hints based on how the toys look in that beginning sequence. I mean, we see Huggy on his back, which is probably what happened when we pushed him down into the depths of hell of Playtime Co. And then we see Mommy popped in half, which is, fresh in our minds from Chapter 2. We know what happened there. And then we see Bron just with his head. I wonder whether that's a hint towards how we're gonna kill him in Chapter 3, or whether that's what he's gonna look like in Chapter 3. He might just be a bouncing head about to kill us. Another thing I want to point out is, I know we see Bron's head in that beginning sequence, but that gas mask looks mighty similar to Bron. I mean, the same shade of red. It's got yellow on the sides, so does Bron's mouth. I don't know, there's gotta be some sort of link there. I wonder whether in Chapter 3, there's some sort of gas mask we have to wear. And maybe that gas mask's lore is that it was meant to look like Bron's head, or something like that. Now, I guess that's a pretty good segue onto what was discussed by, I'm assuming, Elliot Ludwig in the actual trailer. He's mentioning how children should never be afraid, and they deserve the best upbringing they can have, and kind of leading on to how orphans need to be taken care of, and how he wants to put it on himself and his company to do that. And that's when he announces the opening of Playcare as the in-house orphanage for Playtime Co. Now, we don't know exactly what happened in the orphanage in Playtime Co., but it's a pretty strong theory out there. A lot of theorists would say that those children were the ones that were experimented on, because, come on, it's pretty easy. Those kids know they don't have any parents asking for them, and if their parents or foster parents are actual employees, they're the ones doing the experiments on them. So what better way to gas them out and take them into the experiment room than looking like friendly old Bron when you put the gas mask on? I think there's more there, but we'll only see when the full trailer comes out, or Chapter 3. First one, there's a common belief that Elliot Ludwig, the guy that's actually talking at the beginning of this trailer, is actually a good guy, and you can see that in the mini video that you see in his office when you're playing in Chapter 2, that he's got really pure intentions. So I wonder whether his speech at the beginning of the trailer represents his good intentions at the start, maybe when he first opened up the orphanage, and then the screams at the end are what ends up happening when maybe he dies or someone else takes over the factory, and that's when the evil stuff starts happening, and that's why they're kind of blended in together. Okay, and here's the last theory. So hear me out. In Chapter 2, in Elliot Ludwig's office, we learn about Experiment 814, and that's the experiment when he uses the poppy flower and a preservative gel to try and bring a rat back to life. But for all we know, we think that he's using that to try and revive his dead family member. Now, I wonder whether the gas that we see in the video, which is also a suspicious shade of red, is the evolution of the gel and the poppy flower. What if they're mixed together in a vaporized form and put into a gas? And maybe that is what's used now successfully on bigger test subjects like humans or orphans. Now, I'm not 100% sure of how this will link in with the creation of toys that live and they have souls inside of them, but I'm sure it has some link to it because of how important that initial experiment was before creating the Poppy toy. So, what do you think? Let me know.